call on the Honourable Dr Nick Smith to make his valedictory statement.
Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Last month I saw this quirky cafe sign that appealed to my nerdiness that 31 years equates to 1 billion seconds. Bar a few thousand, it's been a blast and an enormous privilege to be part of governing this amazing little country we share. My time here has had many ups and downs, in fact as many as the southern mountains that I studied in my PhD thesis. I came to this parliament 30 years ago with a passion for enterprise, for science and for nature. I wanted New Zealand to be prosperous, where hard work was valued and where every Kiwi has the opportunity to succeed. One of my first duties as a 25-year-old MP was attending the Waimea College prize giving, where I was dutifully asked to present the academic awards. All mic'd up, I made the standard congratulatory comments as each student crossed the stage. Well done. Good effort. It started to feel tedious, so I changed my message. What uni are you think of attending? I asked an attractive young woman, what are you doing after school? Quick as a flash, and loud enough for everyone to hear, she responded, it depends what you had in mind, young man. I've since kept my congrats to the safe and boring in the 100 or so prize givings I've attended since. In my maiden speech, I talked of a nation that had lost its confidence and its way. Our economy was a basket case with high unemployment, rampant inflation and high debt. Our best and brightest were leaving in droves. I do not wish to diminish our current challenges, but we are a much better country today. I caution those in government who wish to decry the reforms of that era when they have been the foundations for the much more successful and resilient nation we are today. I worry that this year's budget has public debt ballooning out to 200 billion and back up near 50% of GDP as it was when I was first elected. Imposing the workplace policies of the 1970s is not the answer to the challenges of the 2020s. The luckiest fortune of my first term was the friendship I forged with what began as the Under-30s caucus, but got branded the Brat Pack. Roger and Shirley Sowry, Bill and Mary English, Tony and Cara Ryle have become the closest of friends. Many wrongly assume the strong friendships between the four of us meant that we agree. We have been on opposite sides of many of National's policy, conscience and leadership debates. Our annual week-long shared holidays rotating between the upper and lower and the North and South Islands over 30 years have enabled us to enjoy watching our 16 children grow up together. My first ministerial job was conservation. I know all in this House would want to wish the current Minister, Kerry Allen, a full recovery. Conservation is the best job in the Cabinet room. To get it once is lucky, to get it twice is to be truly blessed. My appointment to the role was in the aftermath of the Cave Creek disaster. My job was to put in place the systems with Director General Hugh Logan to ensure DOC's thousands of structures and facilities would be safe. We also established in 1999 the Conservation Regents program that has trained over 600 since to do the skilled DOC fieldwork professionally and safely. During my second stint as Minister, we did the Great Walks partnership with Air New Zealand, then led by Chris Luxon, that has helped enable Takahi to return to this park after an absence of over 100 years. Conserving a good chunk of our land mass for nature was the challenge of last century. The focus needs to shift seaward. He jokingly told me not to worry, as he now thought it was such a great idea that he would shoot anybody that would dare undo the reserve. My original government bill got through to second reading stage then post-election 2017, transferred to Minister Parker, but has since gone nowhere. I created a further members' bill for the sanctuary that I'll pass on to Scott Simpson. Prime Minister Jenny Shipley added corrections to my conservation portfolio in '98. I remember the opposition interjecting that my only qualification for the job was being descended from convict stock compulsory deported to Australia. Our ancestor Jeremiah Smith migrated to Australia in 1791 by choice. It was 7 years in Australia or hanging. Initiative I took in corrections were separate youth prisons, the introduction of random drug testing, and expanding drug and alcohol treatment. I remain unapologetically today an arch conservative on drugs and alcohol. Substance abuse and addiction is at the heart of so much crime, hurt, and tragedy. I don't buy this line that going soft and being more permissive will see less use and less harm. It's not a choice of enforcement or treatment. We need to do more of both. I've introduced 50 bills to this Parliament, and particularly proud of are the Royal Society of New Zealand Act and the Chartered Professional Engineers Act. Science and technology are key to improving productivity and our environment. I commend the government and the country in the way we have embraced the science associated with COVID. Yeah. The most satisfying chapter of my career was being part of the key English government. We shared a vision of where we wanted to take New Zealand, and we had built a strong relationship and policies in opposition to work as a team. My work involved creating the Environment Protection Authority and a fast-track but robust consenting process. This enabled us to get on with important projects like Waterview in Auckland, Transmission Gully in Wellington, and the Christchurch's Southern Motorway. I disagree with the government's aversion to building roads on the basis of climate change. The answer lies in changing what we drive on the roads, as well as investing in public transport. Practical laws I'm particularly proud of. The ACC portfolio was financially challenging, but our reforms got the scheme to being fully funded for the first time in its history. There is an issue I got wrong. In 2013, I voted against gay marriage. Their era is all the more personal, with my 20-year-old son being gay. I want to put on record today my apology to New Zealand's LGBT+ community. I pay tribute to Louisa Wall, Fran Wild, and Amy Adams for their leadership that has improved the lives of my son and thousands of other New Zealanders. I also acknowledge Jenny Shipley's courage as the first PM to attend a gay pride parade in '99. My greatest thank this evening is to my wife Lindley. She is my rock, my soulmate, and my best friend. I also want to acknowledge my first wife, Cindy, who supported me through 6 elections. She jokes that Lindley got off lightly, having to only do 5. Lindley and I are very proud of our blended family of Hazel, Logan, Samantha and Alex who are in the gallery. I thank them, as sometimes this job has negative impacts on them. I also thank my wider family. I got good training for Parliament as a child. Each dinner time, our dad would sit up like Mr. Speaker and ask each of us 8 children to give a report on our day. I am sure this and my mum's passion for education influenced my 3 sisters, all of whom have made great contributions as teachers and principals. I'm proud of the nationwide contribution my siblings have made to our nation's infrastructure. I must secondly thank the National Party, its board and its volunteers. I love Nelson's entrepreneurial businesses. Now, the Speaker and I have had our moments. But the worst thing he's ever inflicted on me was actually when he was trying to be kind. We were in Turkey on the Speaker's tour, returning from the Gallipoli Peninsula back to Istanbul. Lindley and I got a bad tummy bug, and the Speaker took pity on us, offering us the flash Merc for the 400k return journey. It got complicated when the interpreter decided he had to go in the van with the head of delegation. leaving Linley and I with a driver who did not understand a word of English. My plight was trying to explain to a driver doing 130 kilometres an hour in an escorted motorcade that I was desperate to go to the loo. It was an excruciating 3 hours. When we finally arrived at Istanbul airport, I tore out of the car so quickly that I caused a security furore. The thing that struck me most from the Speaker's trip to Rwanda, Ethiopia and Turkey is how well-intentioned governments over time get tired and arrogant. Regular changes of government are essential for a healthy democracy. Nor should we ever take for granted the importance of free speech and a politically neutral public service. I thank the press gallery. You can be a pain, but our democracy would be limp without you. My favourite are those hardy dock field staff out in the west and cold in the most rugged corners of New Zealand, repairing tracks, killing pests and protecting nests. I want to conclude on 4 observations of how this place has changed over 3 decades. Firstly, it's much more diverse by age and gender and ethnicity, and that's a great thing. My hope for the future is that we also diversify the skills mix in this House. The second change for the better is that Parliament is a healthier place where you are far more likely today to meet the colleagues in the gym than in the bar. The most notable change for the worse is how lame select committees have become today. They've become perfunctory rubber stamps. Worthwhile inquiries are blocked. It's got worse with the distraction of iPhones and laptops. Select committees need revamping to be more collegial with government and opposition MPs genuinely holding government departments to account for their spending and performance. There is one last difference I celebrate in signing off from this 53rd Parliament. This morning, I woke to the birdsong of tui from my Hill Street flat, and on my walk here saw a beautiful kiruru in Parliament's trees, something you would have not have seen or heard 30 years ago. It's this stunning wildlife, whether you are Maori or European, Pacifica, Asian or whatever, that helps define who we are as New Zealanders. May the birdsong forever be heard here at Parliament and across our land to remind us how blessed we are to call these islands home.
Its longest-serving MP used his farewell speech to right a wrong and say sorry to his son. National MP Nick Smith resigned. The veteran MP sat down with political editor Jessica Mackay for his final interview.
A polarising political career is over.
I want to put on record today my apology to New Zealand's LGBT+ community.
Nick Smith saying sorry for voting against gay marriage in 2013. He sat down with One News to explain why it's personal.
My son Logan told me about 3 years ago that he was gay. By already at that time, I felt that my views were wrong. I gave him a commitment that before I retired from Parliament, I would give that apology publicly.
And I'm really proud of him.
The 20-year-old law student says it was important for his dad to correct the record.
I think it's just important to demonstrate that people can learn and their views can change.
You actually can be pro-family. They're some of the most important relationships we have in life, and still be pro the LGBT+ community. They are not mutually exclusive, and that is where I got it wrong.
Over those 3 decades, he's been a minister, deputy leader, part of the so-called Brat Pack in the 1990s, and a colourful debater.
Well, when I came in, I was the baby of the house. I'm going out as the father of the house.
And his final act as an MP focused on his role as father too. Jessica Mackay, One News.